Articulate. Think about that word for a second.
Mm.
We use it all the time. She's so articulate. Or maybe you need to articulate your needs better.
Right. It's common.
But have you ever really dug into what makes someone or their words truly articulate?
It feels like it's more than just sounding smart or fancy.
Exactly. It's more than that, isn't it? So today we've pulled together a whole stack of fascinating stuff, Ronald. We looked at thesaurus entries, etymology, usage examples, even articles on communication skills.
A real deep dive.
Yeah, our mission here is to sort of unpack this word, which seems simple on the surface, and maybe reveal some surprising things about its power for communication. And maybe even beyond that.
Definitely. We're not just here to read definitions. We want to explore the whole journey of the word, understand why it hits home when we talk about good communication.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, the definition. But maybe think about it this way. When you hear articulate, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
For me, it's usually someone speaking clearly, expressing themselves well, effortlessly almost.
Yeah, me too. And Merriam-Webster's thesaurus kind of backs that up. They link it to eloquent.
Oh, okay.
And they give examples like, those bright students at a science fair, the ones explaining super complex projects on TV?
Oh, yeah, totally. They make it sound easy.
Right. Or a professional who just nails a presentation, really gets their point across clearly. That's the adjective form.
And what's really interesting, there's just how many synonyms there are. You mentioned eloquent, but the thesaurus lists tons. Vocal, fluent, well-spoken, expressive.
Wow. Okay.
It really shows there are many shades to being articulate. It's not just one thing.
It's like a whole spectrum, different ways to be clear and effective. But it's not just an adjective, right? It's also a verb. And that's where it gets maybe a bit more layered.
Mm-hmm. Action words.
So one sense is simply to speak, just uttering words clearly, distinctly. I always picture someone almost over-enunciating.
Like spelling it out.
Yeah, like a parent carefully articulating each syllable when they're trying to make a really serious point. That kind of precision.
Right. Emphasizing the clarity of the sounds.
Yeah.
Then, still as a verb, it also means to express something well, in fitting terms.
Okay, how so?
Think of like an essay. It doesn't just mention space exploration. It really articulates the case for it, lays out the reasons powerfully.
So it's about building an argument, conveying a complex idea, often in writing, perhaps.
Exactly. Crafting the message. And then there's the simpler sense, just to say something, putting thoughts or feelings into words.
But the example they use for that one is kind of revealing, I'm not articulating my thoughts very well.
Ah, we've all been there.
Totally. That frustration when the idea's in your head, but it just won't come out right when you try to speak it.
It shows that articulation isn't always a given. It can fail. And again, the verb has its own synonyms: to speak, express, utter, verbalize.
Right.
It just highlights how many ways we try to get what's inside out.
It feels like all these meanings, adjective or verb, they keep circling back to this core idea of clarity,
Right.
precision, getting thoughts out there effectively.
Agreed. But the origin of the word,
Mm-hmm.
that's where things take a really surprising turn. It gets quite physical.
Physical, how do you mean?
Well, the whole journey starts with the body.
Mm.
The word comes from Latin, articulatus,
Okay.
which is the past participle of articular. And articular meant, get this, to divide into joints.
Joints! Seriously.
Yeah.
Like knee joints and elbow joints.
Exactly. Those kinds of joints. I know, it's not what you'd expect.
Wow. Never would have guessed that.
And articular comes from articulus, meaning a part, a member, a joint,
Hmm.
like a knuckle.
Huh.
And if you trace it back even further, the root is ar, which meant to fit together. And that same root, interestingly, connects to the word harmony.
Harmony. So
Yeah.
fitting together smoothly. Wow. So the very first meaning wasn't about words at all. It was about anatomy, how our bones connect.
Precisely. How the body is structured, how bones join to allow for movement, flexibility. It was about the body's sophisticated design, these interconnected parts.
It was describing the way bones were, well, articulated, joined together to allow distinct movements.
That's it. Highlighting the structure, the way parts work together fluidly.
Okay, that is wild. So how on earth did we jump from talking about physical joints in the body to talking about someone being good with words? That seems like a massive leap.
It was a metaphorical leap, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to have happened back in the Middle Ages. People started drawing a parallel
A parallel between...
between well-formed, functional joints and clear, distinct speech. Just like joints allow smooth, precise physical movement.
Ah, okay.
Clear articulation allows for smooth, precise communication. distinct ideas fitting together.
So clear speech was seen as being well-jointed in a way, structured, clear in its parts.
You got it. That's the connection. And by the time the word entered English, around the 16th century, that metaphorical meaning had really taken hold.
It became a descriptor for eloquence, for structured expression.
Exactly. The original physical sense transformed into describing how we connect and express thoughts through language.
That's amazing, how that core idea, distinct parts fitting together, clearly stayed with the word, whether it's a physical joint or a well-put-together sentence.
Yes, that sense of clarity and connection persists. And you can even still feel that original idea when we talk about articulating words clearly. Each syllable, each sound, distinct but connected.
Okay, so we have the definition, the surprising origin in joints, but let's talk about why it actually matters. Why is being articulate important in our lives beyond just, sounding smart?
Well, fundamentally, it's about being understood, isn't it?
Right, clarity.
When you can articulate your thoughts clearly, you just slash the chances of miscommunication. Think about work projects, personal relationships.
Oh, yeah. How many arguments start from misunderstandings? Countless.
Exactly. It saves so much frustration.
But it's not just about avoiding problems. Being articulate is also a powerful tool for influence.
Influence? How so? Well, if you're pitching an idea, negotiating a deal, trying to inspire a team, being able to clearly and compellingly articulate your vision, your arguments, that's crucial.
Yeah, someone who can lay things out logically, persuasively. They would definitely have an edge.
For sure. And then there's the personal side. Being articulate fosters a sense of empowerment.
Empowerment.
Yeah, when you can confidently express your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, you're better equipped to advocate for yourself, set boundaries, navigate tricky social stuff.
It's like finding your voice, being able to truly express who you are.
Exactly. And professionally, it's consistently ranked as a key skill. Employers really value people who communicate effectively, writing, speaking, presenting.
It opens doors, right? Helps you advance.
Definitely. It affects how competent people see you.
Mm.
And there's another benefit. The act of trying to articulate something complex actually forces you to think more critically about it.
Ah, interesting.
You have to organize your thoughts, pick out the key parts, find the best words. That whole process sharpens your own understanding.
It's like that saying, you don't truly understand something until you can explain it to someone else.
Precisely.